Let me start by asking all of you one simple question. What do you think I see right now? Simply put, I just want you to quite literally tell me what I'm seeing right now. What would I hypothetically be seeing right now, though? Yeah. That was the answer I was expecting, but you saw my glasses. It's fine. So, under normal circumstances, I would have been seeing vibrant colors. I would have been seeing all of you sitting on your chairs. Under normal circumstances, I would have been seeing hues of pink splashing onto oranges and reds, and blues lapping the shores of greens and browns melting into golds. I would have seen the sharp edges morphing into smooth curves and creating a soothing blur. Or maybe that's just an overly exaggerated way of saying what you all already did. I would be seeing nothing, or maybe nothing clearly. See, the world of the blind is unimaginably difficult. But the world of the partially blind, like me, it's a weird conundrum of sorts. To explain in terms of the how many fingers am I showing test, I know for a fact you are holding up your left hand, but I do not know how many fingers you're showing me. I got these glasses, or rather much more jarring looking glasses, back when I was in KG2. I was just 5 at that time, so naturally, when I saw the world in a blur for the first time, I panicked. I remember distinctly at that time, just earlier that year, I had gone to a trip to the zoo, and I could see everything around me in clear colors. Now, I couldn't even see the cabinet in front of me clearly. And just before I could crash into that very cabinet, I was held back and made to wear these. Naturally, like what a 5-year-old would do, I went to my mom and I started complaining about this to her. I asked her, "Mama, why does the world look so blurred to me?" She must have been in a philosophical mood back then, because I remember her saying, "Trisha, the world is actually blurred to everyone." I did not understand anything she was saying at that time, but I did manage to understand a few years down the line. She continued saying that, well, a physical vision defect is much less harmful than the common mental defect in perspective that most people suffer from. Fancy words for a 5-year-old to comprehend. Anyways, she asked a question after that, saying, "Well, at least you can see things clearly with this." What were perspectives glasses? No one knew that yet. Hold on right there as I ask you another quick question. From that exaggerated poetic monologue I made earlier, do any of you remember me mentioning the color gray anywhere? Any of you? No? Right. That just shows you were paying attention, because I, in fact, did not mention the color gray. And that is because I technically cannot see the color gray clearly without my specs. You see, in this hazy, semi-blind world, gray is often just a small dot, I guess, over the tones of black and white, which are much bigger shades and much clearer to me. Now, there is a much more logical, much more scientific explanation for that. But I dropped science for a reason. Anyways, coming back to the point, there is a very famous quote by Tammy Hogg from her novel, A Thin, Dark Line, that goes, "The world isn't black and white, Annie. It's shades of gray." You must have heard some version of this quote somewhere or the other. The real question here, however, isn't where you've heard this quote, but it is how many times have we led ourselves to see the gray. Here, gray doesn't just represent a color. It represents a part of what my mom was trying to tell me so many years back then. That perspective cannot be objective. The answer to this question is very hard getting to, because maybe, just maybe, our perspectives lie in the same hazy, semi-blind world. Maybe it's just not pertaining to the physical one. Why are we trapped in this world, though? Because it's just so comfortable to surround yourselves with opinions that reflect our own, and to have simple views around you that you can immediately classify as wrong or right by your own discretion and not having to think about it later. It's just so easy. And maybe this, what I said right now, this realization, is the first step to actually stepping out of this hazy, semi-blind world. To ground oneself in the reality and acknowledge the fact that we are trapped, yes, and bearing the guilt that comes along with it. So that the next time we are put into a situation where we are inclined to immediately declare the black and white, we take a step back and reflect. Is it even correct to take a decision, any decision, at that point in time in that context? Maybe the answer is a no, and that's all right. People have different perceptions of the truth. All of them can coexist. The world doesn't have to be simple. We just have to learn to embrace the complexity. And maybe the people around you might not be subjecting themselves to such a deeper level of thinking. But that shouldn't hinder you from yearning for depth, yearning for deeper understanding. And that is how, my friends, G-R-E-Y, grey, ground oneself, reflect, embrace the complexity, and yearn for depth, actually becomes the glasses, this, to see the grey, to see perspective clearly in the haze. And it's not really simple to adapt to this. In fact, I too am not all the way there. But if a 5-year-old girl, if a KG2 Trisha could learn how to get used to these, then I'm sure we can learn to get used to this as well. It's all a matter of acceptance and conscious effort. After all, it's the grays that bring all of us together despite our individual blacks and whites. And if there's one thing this pathetically obstructive frame has taught me, it is to value the power of a well-rounded perspective. So, would you like to know what I finally see right now? Oh, nice. I see people with different appearances. I see different colors in the audience. And at the very back, I see a wall that till now I thought was dark enough to be black, but is actually gray.